I said I'm going to record. I'm just going to put the recording on. I'm going to record and speak of you what I'm going to speak. And whenever there's a sharing, I will turn off the recording. And with that, I would like to ask, even though this is a taster workshop, but I still would like to create a confidential frame. So what that means is, you know, you're very welcome to share with anybody about your own experience of this evening, but please don't share about what other people have said, or even, yeah, who's here tonight with you. And that's really to create a as safe and yummy space for us to go through little experience as can be. Can I have a show of hands or thumbs or anything, and keep them up for a bit so that I can see that you all agree? Yeah, I see every hand. Wonderful, thank you. And to say everything here is an offering, is that you can take or leave. My intention for you tonight is that it's an inspiring evening, inspiring session, that it's nourishing, and then that you get a taste of this potent work. And yes, maybe you feel it's for you and you're going to join the 6-week course. But yeah, this is now. And also to say, please honor your boundaries and your limitations. So, you know, if you don't want to do an exercise, just don't do it. And please be gentle and kind and compassionate with yourselves and with each other. You know, the work around embodiment and creativity in writing is very potent and can bring up things. So really go in your pace and look after yourselves. There won't be an official break in this hour and a half. So, you know, if you need to take a break, you can do that. If in the exercise you want to turn off the camera, or you want to turn your computer to another view, that's totally fine. I do ask when we come together as a group that we can see each other. Yeah. Yeah, and to say, you know, all feelings are welcome here. Really welcome yourself. Whatever's been going on for you today or this week, yeah, please, from my side, you're super welcome. And I'm asking of you if you can give yourself as much permission as you can to show up here. Question, let me just quickly read that. Say tonight, finish it at 8 p.m. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's an hour and a half. Okay, are there any questions on that? All in agreement, great. So, yes, before we do our little introduction, I would like to give you a little warm-up exercise, which is very simple. Basically, I'm going to put on one song of music, and you are welcome to move to it in whatever way you like. If you're sitting and you want to stay seated and just move your wrists, or even just move inside, that's totally fine. If you want to move around and stretch and be as, yeah, expansive as you like, that's equally. I'm suggesting you give yourself a bit more breath than, you know, we usually do. So it's just one song, and then I'm gonna give you 3 minutes of free writing time. So if you have a pad, notepad, anything to write, it's best to do that with pen and paper. And the invitation is simply, after you've moved, to allow whatever is moving in you to move through the pen and onto the page. And so by free writing, really, I mean that, to allow what's moving through that into the page. And you do not have to share any of this. This is a space for you to check in with yourself. You know, where are you right now? Why are you here in this space tonight? Why writing from the body or whatever? Yeah? It's all right? Beautiful. Okay. One song and then 3 minutes. And I'm watching the time. So.
Jalondo kasoro jalonte ni de mango oyara duba kono uba fofana to kasoro fanante ni de mango oyara duba kono uba fo yatime kasoro yatimante kana baga walide ma ama vengila kana baga falatoma ama ni kana paga yatimema ama fankila ni kana paga falatoma ama fankila son 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 son
So just turn to your notebooks and I'll watch the time, just 3 minutes, to let whatever's moving in you move onto the page. So please finish that sentence. And no, you can always come back to that as well. So I'd love us to do a little introduction round to see who's here. And how I'd love to do this is quite simple. Just say your name and also your pronoun. So she, he, they, or any other pronouns you use so we don't assume a person's gender identity. And then where in the world are you? And why writing from the body? Why are you here? So quite short, and we're a large group, so I'm gonna keep the time just a minute each. We'll ding a bell. But yeah, and how I love to do this is if one person starts us off, and then we imagine a red or a golden thread that we're going to pass on. And so you just pick someone and imagine giving this thread to the next person. And if the next person, if you don't want to speak at that moment or not at all, just pass it on. Yeah. All right. Who would like to start us off? And if I make any notes, it's simply for me to, yeah, keep in mind what to offer.
I will if no one else.
Yes, please, Wildflower. Start
Yeah,
us.
hi, I'm Wildflower, she, her, and I'm in British Columbia in Canada on the unceded and traditional territory of the Secwepemc people in Kamloops, which is about 3 or 4 hours east of the western coast of Canada. And I am here. I'm here to write and to be in my body. I really, yeah, want to commit to getting back to writing this year. I just love the process, the creative act of.
Yeah, hearing you all made me aware of why I'm doing this work, and also why it's so important, I think, in these times particularly. So yeah, so I'm Eva, I use she, her pronouns. I'm in Saltine near Brighton in the UK. And I wear many hats, like many of you wear many hats. I'm a writer and a coach. I'm both a sex coach as well as a creative and a writing coach. And I'm also a sexological body worker. And really what excites me and where I now sit is in this intersection and this weaving of the creative and the embodied and the erotic. But particular, you know, and writing from the body particular is about that connection between the embodied and the creative. And yeah, I've taken all my work online. I work with individuals and groups and couples. So, and writing from the body is really my, yeah, what I feel most passionate about. So why writing from the body? What's all this about? How did it come about? So I've always had an interest in embodiment, and probably that was because it was actually quite challenging for me to be in my body and feel my body and feel connected with my body. And so it's been a long journey to become more embodied. And what I found out that even though I engaged in things like 5 rhythms dancing and yoga and yeah, lots of embodiment practices, they were somewhere over here, and over here was creative expression, so particular writing. And somehow that didn't connect. And one day, I reflected on this. It's kind of strange, I get up, open the laptop, hunch over and imagine that writing should come from that. And of course it does anyway. But what I started to experiment with was what will happen if I write after having danced for 2 hours? What's happening if I'm out of breath? What happens after a yoga session and I just go into free writing? And so what I found was that the quality of that writing is really different. It's as if it's coming from a whole different place. It felt richer, it felt, more surprising. And so I kept exploring that. I'm also a breath worker. So, the whole area of breath, most of us, we go through life just not breathing very deeply because we're contracted and we hold our breath if we don't want to feel. And so if any of that we expand, so to breathe a little more, to move a bit more, and from that place going into writing, I found a little bit of that can already change. And that's part of why I've even given you that very little exercise of just moving to one song and then going into writing, because sometimes we can feel it even in that. And I'd say, even if you take that away from tonight, I'd be so happy, if anything happens in your day, you feel blocked, you feel contracted, to put on a piece of music, to let yourself move, then go and write a few minutes. Something usually will move. And then, of course, there's this whole big area around how our bodies hold our histories. Our bodies hold our memories. Everything we've ever experienced, we've experienced in our bodies. Like to read you a little quote by Suzette Clow. She's a writer and painter. She says, "Your body is the root of all creative work. When you paint or write with the whole of yourself, you're in touch with the universe inside your body. Everything you've ever felt, heard, seen, or thought is yet to become, is existing inside of you." And a good friend of mine said about the writing from the body courses, it's like an intimate date with yourself and with a group to become more acquainted with what's stored in your body and wishes to speak to us or through us. There's something about the intimacy that happens when we're tapping into our own bodies, when we listen deeper. Just gonna move. I'm also aware that, being in a body isn't always easy. I really, really want to acknowledge that, as a body worker, sometimes we throw these words around so easily, embodiment, just connect with your body, breathe into your body. It's not easy very often for whatever reason. It might be we carry body shame, we have dysphoria, we have trauma, feel disconnected for numerous reasons. So really wanted to acknowledge that as well. And also to say there is something about this work that really allows us to self-regulate. How much do we want to go into this space? There's something about listening in and then writing that is a really holding container. But I want to read you something I've written over the summer when I reflected more deeply about what writing from the body might be able to offer. And I feel that speaks more deeply than I could do as I do now. So when we write from the body, we write from the bodily home we inhabit in this life. We might write from a black body, a queer body, a white body, a mixed race body, a dying body, a non-binary body, genderqueer body, an able-bodied body, an immunocompromised body, a fat body, a disabled body, an exhausted, an agile, an ill, an anxious, a body in love and rapture, a relaxed or a resilient body, or any possible combination of these. Writing from the body means writing our memories, stories, and the stories of our ancestors, which we carry in our bodies, in our bones and blood. It means becoming aware of assumptions about our own bodies and of others' bodies, and confronting prejudice and judgments we hold. Through writing from the body, we have a chance to find compassion, kindness, care, and love for our bodies as we give space for our body's voice. We might have ignored the voice of our body for many reasons and maybe for a long time. So writing from the body is an opportunity to release expectations and pressure to be anything else than who we are, and to truly listen to what our bodies have to tell us and want to share, and to find a voice where we've previously suppressed it, to express what couldn't be said, to voice pain, grief, as well as pleasure and joy. And it can be utterly challenging to be embodied, particularly at this time. And yet our bodies are the place we live in. So writing from the body, we can slowly, gently allow ourselves to listen, to allow ourselves to feel, to make changes that navigate us away from pain we might have become so used to allow ourselves to feel pleasure in inviting more, and to honor and hold wholly our bodies. And ultimately, this is about coming home to ourselves, to live in peace with our bodies. And I'm aware this is a really deep journey. It can be challenging and rewarding, and I feel it's never ending. And we do this in community. In writing from the body, we do this in community. And for me, this is one of the most important aspects of it. When we share in community and we're held by it, we can shed shame and whatever does not serve us anymore. And yeah, so this is my hope for this work. Yeah, so I want to say a little bit about the actual writing. So when we write during writing from the body, it is free writing. It's stream of consciousness writing. So it's writing that sits somewhere between the conscious and the unconscious. Or we can see it as really allowing the body to let flow into a pen. That's why I recommend to actually in the sessions using a pen. So that it becomes a real physical aspect. So it's never about the product, you know, even though beautiful things come out of these sessions, very beautiful, deep writing, but it's not about the product. It's about the process. It's about the intimacy between you and yourself, and the intimacy that can happen in a group when we share. So it's best to have, you know, no agenda, no expectations around what might come out, because I'm sure if we go around again and we'd hear what messages we might have received, critical messages when we were younger around creativity, there's lots that could block us. But, you know, we're really inviting in here to, yeah, this is your sacred place. You know, when you open a notebook, this is your space. Nobody has to read it. You don't have to share any of the writing. So to say in the 6-week course as well, the process really is on the experiential experiences rather than any sharing of words in the group. Sometimes, you know, people might share a snippet of it, and there's a private Facebook group where you can share. But to keep that focused, yeah, that's we hardly share actual words in the group that's been created. So yeah, where I've been speaking a lot. Now I'm requesting another breath, whether we can take a breath together, and then I'm gonna offer you an exercise. Yeah, let that settle. So in a moment, I'm gonna take you through it's a 2-part exercise. I'm gonna play one song first, and it's very similar than the prompt for the first song, for you to just move. Maybe something has touched you now in the sharing, or from what I've been sharing about writing from the body. And you might take that into moving, but just allow the music also to move you, give yourself breath. And then again, take your notebooks, and I'm offering about 4 minutes of writing. And then there's a second part to it that I will introduce then. Yeah, and again, you know, feel free to keep your camera on or off, it's completely up to you.
Smerraditoi, kjære han låst i hat. Nästan i melkirta, pievä chayelahin. Tonai pasha tavas, mun huvidan mättäs. Ton halidi tavas, mun jadin mättäs. Kaskia päivädaki, jäävetsän hiejaidet. Täpkäiväl vuottasan, hätächan uodiha. Tom kirtasa tjeukan, mun säunjadin nädän. Tuupiap maada mätti, mun läitsi tantovin. Muutsuki sahtostit. Näste ole min tuopistan, itjandu miedustan. Ton vahtara hiljaa, säunja mus olodan. Tuu ai mu kuotasan, iena mu vuhtoda.
Beautiful. So just turn to your notebook. A few minutes. Watch the time. I invite you to still stay with your writing for a moment. So the invitation is that you scan over your writing and really feel into, is there a word, a phrase or a sentence that really surprised you, that holds energy, power, surprise, resonance? And when you find that, just draw a big circle around it. If you have a few, just pick one. And then when you've got that, just turn over a page in your book and write that name, that one word, that phrase, that sentence at the top of that new page. And then my invitation is, I'm going to put on one more song. And so this time you're coming to the music, you're coming to the song from your writing, particular from this one word, phrase, or sentence, and see whether you can use that as a starting point, and then let that flow into whatever it wants to. You might just hold that word in mind and see what happens. So I'm playing one more song, and I'm giving you another, a bit shorter time to write. Okay.
If I've got it right, so you play another song, we put the phrase on the next page, and then we write from there?
Yeah, no, you move from there. So it might be, you just one word, one sentence, and you take that into your body in whatever way. It can be just you hold it in mind.
Yeah.
And then you move with that, and then that might take you into a whole different journey. And then we're going to come back, and then it's just another short time of rewriting. Okay, thanks for asking.
To let myself go, to let myself flow is the only way of being. There's no use telling me, there's no use taking a step back from me. To let myself go, to let myself flow is the only way of being. There's no use telling me, there's no use taking a step back from me. myself flow is the only way of being. There's no use telling me, there's no use taking a step back from me.
One last time, return to your notebooks and let's take a few minutes.